Today, we are going to be looking at strings, text representation basically, which is called string. Let's formally dive a little deeper into understanding strings. How do we define string to start with? Actually, strings can be defined using three types of quotes. The single quotes. Now, one of the places where you would want to use single quote is if you actually need to use double quotes in your actual string. If you're using double quotes, in that case, you will not be able to use double quote inside it. So for example, if I run this, you will see it gives a syntax error, invalid syntax here. Largely, you can just be using double quotes for most of your string. But in those specific cases where you need to use double quotes, you can use single quote. Now you're wondering what is the third way to define triple quote. And the power of triple quote is that it allows you to do multi-lines statements. So just the way you write it within the triple quote, you will see it gets printed. Did you ever try doing this with double quote? So for example, so let us try this. Python supports string in double quotes. And if we run this, again, it says invalid syntax. Okay, that got some extra characters. I removed that, right? It says end of line while scanning string literal. EOL stands for end of line. If we give a backslash, it indicates that it's a end of line. So this is also a way we can write statements. So just play with different kind of string representation to understand how they are defined. We will look at some of the common operations that are applicable actually to most of the sequence types that we use in Python. So operation like addition plus. Now for numbers, it's intuitive to you. What would it do? It would do addition. What would your guess be if we define two strings and I say string 1 plus string 2? What would we expect it to do? It's a concatenation. It basically joins one after the other. And suppose you wanted a space between them. What are the multiple ways in which you can approach it? So why don't you take a pause and quickly check it out for yourself? Which are the methods that you tried to put these spaces? So did you try just putting a space here or before programming? That's one way to do it. But if you don't want to touch the existing strings and you wanted to put a space, so you can just use a plus space and plus string 2. So just a space in between the two strings will also do the trick. Now the multiplication operation. Can you think of use of multiplication operator with strings? So if I print string 1 2 times, then it prints panchatantra panchatantra. Important thing to observe here is that it is taken an integer as the second operator. If you were to put string 2 here, if you try to multiply two strings, let's see what it will give us. It's giving us a type error. It says can't multiply sequence by non-integer type. So you cannot multiply by a non-integer. So it has to be a integer. So if I do it by 3 times, then it will just print it 3 times. So you'll see the good thing about your programming concepts is that once you have understood, very easily able to apply it with other data type. How do we access this? So just like string, your text is going to be indexed starting from 0 on the left here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, it will go on. The space is also treated as a character. So for example, if I want to see, so if I ask you to print the space, what is the value you'll put here? So let's do the counting. So it starts from 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You're able to confirm this is 12. And if you want to just confirm the 13th one, so you're able to confirm that this is space and this is the 13th character, which is P. Now, if you want to do substrings, that is, get part of it, the syntax for that is you have to say the start colon stop. So start starts from the index which you list down, and it stops one index before this stop count. And the third one is step. So if you've not yet spent enough time on step, I would totally encourage you to do that. If you want to say pancha, so you want to start from 0 and Pancha, right? So we have to go till 5th. So we put here 6 and we print. Part of it is pancha. So you can now take a pause, play with the indexes. And if I asked you to print the last one, what would you do? You remember it well from your list. Programming G. So the -1 is the last index. What is the other way? What is the other way you can do it? That is right, if you're thinking the length. So the length function not only works with list, it also works with string. So it took the length of the string. And why did we have to do a -1? Because it started with 0, right? So it's always going to be less by -1. You must go and play along with everything you've learned with string so far, and also try out some of the things which you did with list and see how it works with string. So text processing is a big thing in computing. Natural language processing, or popularly known as NLP, this is a branch in computer science field which is specially focused to see that how your computers can understand and process languages just the way humans can.